Welcome everybody to Fishman Loves Linux. I'm Fishman, still loving my Linux. And today we are going to take a look at AcreetionOS. I know some people probably have never heard of this. It is fairly new. It's based on Arch. I like it, but it doesn't always work with low spec hardware. And that's okay, because there's so many flavors of Arch based systems you can use. But to get one that you can trust, that's a whole different ballgame. AcreetionOS, if it messes up, I guarantee you they'll help you fix it. You'll never be told to go read the manual. You always have somebody that is willing to help you, including myself. At the end of this video, in the description, I'll leave a link for the Discord server so everybody can come and visit. Alright, now, for the moment you're all waiting on. We're going to install, this is Accretion. And I know on my screen it looks really small. I haven't done this in a long time, so please excuse me if the small print bothers folks. I'm 60 years old, and even with my bifocals I can't make it out. But I know what button is which. And I can make it out enough to move forward with this. But it says, welcome to the AcreetionOS installer. Very personal. They even have their own little artwork here, which I find to be very intriguing. This program will ask you some questions and set up AcreetionOS on your computer, which I think that's a wonderful message to see. Now here you get your choices of kernels and different types of support like NVIDIA, Intel, AMD graphic drivers. They got the CUDA toolkit. Check and make sure that the toolkit, for all you CUDA users, make sure it's up to date. So when you do this install, make sure that you go and update it and upgrade it first thing right off the bat. And that should bring up the CUDA toolkit to the point that everybody needs. Okay, we're going to check off for my machine, which I'm doing this as a GNOME box. This is because my machine only has 4 cores and 8 gigs of RAM. And I've got, I think it's 128 gigabyte not even an SSD on it. It's a NVMe thing, which some people like 128 gig, that's a lot, not when you're making videos. I'm getting the Intel graphics drivers. I have an Intel chipset. This will cover that. The Intel U-code or microcode, I always install that because I've had times where I didn't install it and I needed it. This comes with the latest Linux LTS kernel. Okay? It's for older kernels are stable for machines, older machines especially. So I believe that this would work. This is a 2019 X1 Carbon, okay? So we look at it from this perspective. It's not quite 10 years old yet. Let's look at 10 to 15-year-old machines. I'm trying to get a potato laptop that I can use to test all this out, okay? But please be patient about that. Now click next. Well, I thought I did. Yeah, there we go. I click next. Now, if you want gaming applications, they have Lutris, Steam, Steam Native, Lutris again. I don't understand that one. Heroic Games, Bottles. Bottles is dealing with wine, I believe. Chat software they get. Now, Desktop I use, and it's very, very good. It's better than the Discord app. And I'm going to tell you why. You got more privacy. Using Discord leaves you open to attacks from bots, miners, anybody who's digging around looking for something to disrupt. That's just the way it is. And so I'm going to check Desktop because that's what I use. Thanks to Nat and Linux Grandpa over there in the AcreetionOS server for turning me on to that. I never knew it existed until a few days ago. Now we can get LibreOffice, you can get OBS Studio, and this loopback thing that I have never used, so I have no idea what it does. If anybody knows, leave in the comments if I'm leaving something out. This way I can be a better narrator and presenter of this software. Okay, and I'm not getting LibreOffice, Google Chrome, Brave, let's get LibreWolf. And the reason why I'm choosing that is because I know LibreWolf is like having a Tor browser almost. Now, you can install TorGuard, but with LibreWolf, I believe it has a built-in VPN for free. Now we click on this. I'm on the internet, therefore it automatically detects my location for my time zone. Isn't that so cool? I remember typing in America/Chicago for eons. Then somebody decided, let's do this, CST6 CDT. Most people hear that and go, what on earth are you talking about? Well, it's just one of those programming things where it's up to each individual developer on how to present these things. A lot of times you get Ubuntu or Linux Mint or something simple like that, and you'll see that if it doesn't auto-detect it, if you type in America/whatever, Eastern, Pacific, Mountain, Central, and on Central is Chicago, and I think on the East Coast y'all use New York time or something like that. Now, I know I'm probably wrong about a lot of this stuff. Leave comments. Please, let's keep it positive and light. Learn together, I am getting kind of older, so therefore my memory is not as good as it used to be. For 10 years, I was losing my memory and having seizures. I couldn't understand why until I had this open heart surgery, and man, a quadruple bypass will really open up the capillaries for oxygen to flow through your red blood cells. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. This is the bad thing about being offline for a long time. Now I'm going to choose erase the disk since I'm using a VM. Boy, I can't see that cursor very well. I don't need a swap because I'm using an SSD or NVMe. There's a difference between the two devices, okay? I don't know right now. I'll get back with y'all on the NVMe. If somebody watching this video hears me, please in the comments leave information. I mean, what's NVMe stand for? If somebody knows it by heart, please leave it in the comments. If not, I'll go and research it later. So, we're going to erase the disk. I'm going to type in my name. It says full name. You can if you want to, but I choose to use my moniker. I don't like leaving. I'm going to call this Accretion. AcreetionOS 1. That way, don't confuse it with something in the program. I'm going to use my trusty password that I always use because I remember it. And muscle memory is involved in this thing. Now, I'm using the same password as administrator account, which is your root, and I don't want to log in automatically. I just don't do that. I require my password even for myself. It may sound like a pain, but it's being security minded. If somebody really wants to get in my system, why, I don't know, because I really don't have anything. But if they want to get in my system, then they're going to get in no matter what I do. There's no perfect programmer, there's no perfect program. Therefore, we're all in the same boat together. I don't keep important stuff on my machine. I always keep it offline. Like I have an external hard drive. Yeah, I know it's old. It's a USB 3.0 on it. It works fine. It's a terabyte. That's where I keep my important stuff at, not online. I do have a cloud account, but I have a duplicate of everything that's on my cloud account backed up onto my external hard drive. I'm hoping that one of these days I can get me a USB flash drive that's at least 64 gigs or better. That way I can start using like Ventoy and stuff like that instead of having to write my devices to death. It's really funny. I'm not going to make y'all sit through the entire install. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll come right back to Fishman Loves Linux. Okay, we're almost done with this installation process. I mean, any second now. I don't believe in letting you sit behind there going, when are we going to get done with this part so I can actually see it? I will tell you AcreetionOS is the only one desktop on it. Is Cinnamon Desktop. Lots of people love Cinnamon. I'm an old school XFC guy, and I'm going to have a tutorial where I can show you how to take AcreetionOS and install XFCE or whatever else you want. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but I realize there's a lot of new people to Linux that don't know this. Let's restart this machine and get this going. I've learned one time I didn't restart the machine and I hit done and it literally, the system froze up. Okay? This was back when I was trying Portus Linux, and now I think you call it Portus X or something. But see how it's hanging up a little bit? It's the VM. It has nothing to do with that software, so I'm going to force it to shut down. Then I'm going to come back in here on my preferences. We go over here to devices. Well, I quit grabbing stuff. See this ISO? Click it twice real fast. Boom, it goes away. And if you have any USB devices plugged in, you can always add some too. But usually it'll come with a little slider deal. And I plug in mine, it'll come in right there, But this is for boxes, not for AcreetionOS. But anyway, the reason why I do that is because sometimes it doesn't eject the ISO image like it's ejecting the CD or DVD. So I have to do it manually. Like I said, this machine I'm using is the X1 Carbon. It's from 2019. It's got 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigabyte SSD in it. And the processor is a Core i5, third generation. That's all I know. I can't remember the exact numbers. I know it's 4 numbers that end with a U. So you can figure it out. 2019 Lenovo ThinkPad X1 Carbon. And those specs will show up. You'll have, I think, they offered 3 processors back then. The i3, i5, and i7. And the i7 at that time was pretty new. Well, let's boot this back up and see what we get. And if it doesn't load, then of course it's going to load. This is Accretion. This isn't Manjaro or anything like that, One thing about Arch Linux that I've learned over the years is that with Arch, I can go faster than having all this aesthetics. Oh my goodness, man. Updating is a nightmare with some of these distros because the more you update and upgrade, the slower it gets, And most of those are Debian based. Now, pure Debian system, where it's modified but still Debian, that runs pretty fast. And in the near future, I'll be doing a showcase on Mini OS. I'm going to try the Ultra one because the fact is that I think the Ultra one's going to come fully loaded and you'll be able to see all the software that they offer and some that doesn't come pre-installed. They consider that a pocket OS. But that's a discussion for later. Put in my trusty password. And I know I'm talking a lot, but that's what I do. And I hope y'all are having a great day or a great evening watching this video. Sometimes it takes this machine a little bit, but I backed this off. I only have 4 cores on this machine. I backed it off. I'm only using 2 on Accretion. And what the amazing thing about doing a virtual machine is that you're really working the OS a lot harder than you do on bare metal. But it depends on what you're putting it on. I mean, if you're going to put it on an XP machine, which is usually 32-bit, I know they had 64-bit towards the end, But in the beginning, there was no 64-bit anything. I mean, it was like a slow process. There was years we went through with just a 32-bit structure. And then one day I was talking to a friend of mine, and he went ahead and showed me his new machine, which was a 64-bit processor. And I think the thing is that you had business machines and stuff. What is this? I don't know. It says, you are currently running in fallback mode. If you suspect the source of the crash is the local extension applet desklet, you can disable downloaded add on using the checkbox. Yes, let's restart Cinnamon. See, this is why I don't use Cinnamon, is because it runs a little heavy on the resources. See, it popped back up. It's very resilient. Now, one of the first things I do after installation is I go over here. Now, here you go to Preferences, then you go over here and you go down to the display. I know everybody's squinting their eyes right now trying to see that. I know I would. But I go up here to 1600 by 900. We're going to apply that. That should give us plenty of real estate to look at. Oh, it's much better. And the reason why it's doing the freaky thing with the graphics is because I use Intel chipset for my graphics. It's built in. It really blows. But I'm doing the best that I can with what I have so I can share with y'all the things that I discover every day in the Linux world. You know, cruising the internet is like going to several libraries and just, wow, look at all this stuff, man, you know. Okay, AcreetionOS, here it is. It's stock, Cinnamon, like I said. First thing we're going to do is do some updating. Now, the reason why I'm not opening the terminal is this is going to be for the new average user, which usually don't use the terminal. But coming up, we're going to have tutorials on how to do Arch in the terminal. It's fun once you get used to it and know how to do it and know what you're doing. That's the whole trick to everything, it seems like. As you see, we got the key ring and all this goodies here. I just press apply and put in my trusty password again. I like the fact that it is security minded and it's geared towards security as far as your password. I don't like SU because sometimes I forget to exit the SU and go back into my account. And plus you can harm your system if you leave it in root. So I try not to leave it in root. It's a good practice, actually. I've seen many guys mess off a system they worked on weeks to get it to their liking. Alright, as soon as this is done, I'm going to show you what it comes with. And I'm sure y'all are going to like this. Oh, come on, it's taking forever. Let's do that while that's updating. How's that sound? Okay, over here at now I could do all applications, I realize that, but I like doing the categories because some people like me like looking in the categories. When you see the all applications going through every single app, I'm like, oh God, it's going to end for me. Anyway, you can see we got calculator disk, gedit, HP device manager, Nemo, passwords and keys, screenshot, virtual keyboard, which I hate, X-Archiver for your compression needs, if you need to extract something. Under graphics, no GIMP, just an image viewer. I think it's Ristretto. And over here on the internet side, we've got the Vahi, SSH, and VNC server browsers. Then we got Firefox and LibreWolf. I didn't know came with it. Okay, I like LibreWolf. Okay, I don't really care for Firefox. It's a personal preference thing. It's not putting nobody down. It's not putting Mozilla down. They have some great projects, LibreWolf happens to be one of them, I believe. Let's look. Let's see how fast we can get online. I tell you what, man, the first time I did virtualization, it was a nightmare for me. Okay, it's not coming up for some reason. There it goes. Well, with the updates, I'm sure it's going to lag a little bit, but that's actually pretty fast for doing all that. And their search engine default is DuckDuckGo, which I like. But it's a no frills browser, man. You don't have to worry about. I mean, look, it's like almost. It's not quite headless, but it don't have no branding on it that says LibreWolf or anything. Anyway, I'm going to search for. Oh, let's search for how to flat pack. That's a good subject to play with. And it goes up in the address bar. It's still the same thing. Am I not got rid of those damn things? On the compositor, especially in a virtual machine, you don't need shadowing under your drop boxes and stuff. So I just go to preferences, find myself the window manager tweaks if it's in here. Administrator, nope. Huh, this is strange. It's got to be here. It's not. Let's look at the Windows side, see what this is. I keep forgetting about it. See, here's another thing. I'm limited because I'm an XFCE guy. So I'm kind of limited about what I can do with this thing. I haven't fully fleshed it out yet. But I can tell you right now that everybody that tries it out, please, in the comments below, leave your experience, Even if you have to do a part 1, part 2, part 3, or post the link so we can all read your blog. That would be really cool. For those that blog out there, you can post your links in the comments below. I sure appreciate everybody helping because this is the only way I know how to do things. It's just straight up. There we go. I was going crazy seeing my panel on top, so I forgot to blow it up. Please forgive my mistakes. I haven't done this in a very long time. And depending on the speed of your machine, you got a really bad to the bone gaming machine. It'll just go zip bang doom. If you got a bunch of RAM, like 64 gigs, I know somebody's got 128 gigabyte in RAM, and I don't know where he got it from, but boy, he updates and it takes like a nanosecond. Boom, it's done. I'm like going, can you even read that when it goes by? He said, nope. It streamlines all the characters where you can't read them. So, as we see the Arch Linux key ringing and all this other good stuff's getting updated. That's all this is. It's updating, and it looks like the base core package of things. It is, pretty much. All this stuff here, when I first started Linux 2006, I said, what on earth is all this mess? But then, little by little over the years, I learned what that mess is. So, we saw how the web browser works. Whenever I install AcreetionOS, I have to get rid of packages like Firefox. I don't need it. I use LibreWolf or I use Google Chrome. Before you make fun of me on the Google Chrome, it's the way I have Google Chrome set up with my Gmail and all my other accounts. That's all. I get tired of redoing that stuff. So with the internet, you see we got the LibreWolf Firefox, of course. We got the desktop. If I could say that, I ain't hardly got no teeth left. And there's web apps with this. I first started doing web apps whenever I was playing with Peppermint OS. That was the first time I got having my dealings with a web app, and I had a ton of them. Had too many, and half of them didn't work. Under other, we've got HP UI scan. Okay. And this is if you install like an HP printer that has scanning. Most printers have scanning capabilities. I come from the day when we had separate scanning beds and stuff. Under program, you got Electron 31, Qt Assistant, Qt Debus Viewer, Qt Linguist, and Qt Widgets Designer. Sounds interesting, but not enough for me to do it. Under sound and video, you got celluloid to play music, I guess. MPV media player for your movies. I'm not sure if MPV would play audio files. That's a good question for later on in another video. Then we got the Qt stuff for your test and video capture utilities. And you have VLC media player I added because I'm not sure if if people would like to have it. I can show in a tutorial how we can install it. Alright, and then we get the sound and video. I see that myself. It wants to restart and I'm not ready yet. Okay. Under administration, you got add roommate software, you got a Vahi Zero Conf browser, downgrade desktop, that's different for me, manage printing, system monitor, terminal, then you got time shift, users and groups. And then under preferences, we got a buttload of things. We got accessibility, account details, actions, advanced network config, applets, backgrounds, and see Bluetooth manager. The reason why there's applets is because Cinnamon Bar uses applets. So that's what you see down there, a bunch of applets. Color for system colors, date and time, config. You got desklets. That's another thing goes on that Cinnamon Bar. Desktop, display, effects, extensions, font selection general, gestures, graphics tablet. That's a new one on me too. Hot corners, yeah, I've seen that before. Keyboard, mouse and touchpad, which has got your cursor themes in it. It comes up and you go to touchpad. Oh, it don't, does it? No. Oh my, this is different. Okay, there's another reason why I get lost on these systems. I'm going to close this and restart it manually. I'm going to shut down LibreWolf. As you can see, LibreWolf, man, you type in something on DuckDuckGo and it comes up with a bunch of stuff. Some of these content providers here do a really good job on their tutorials about how to use Flatpak, how to install it. If you want to see that, I suggest you go to these guys and check it out. Later on, we'll want to get more in depth with Flatpak. I'll be able to show you how easily you can install it. And it's, I mean, under Arch, it's a snap with the AUR. So, with that in mind, I'll be right back. We're going to go ahead and reboot. And okay, we're back up and running. It's just booting into the system itself. I really enjoy doing videos. I know this one's kind of lengthy and I don't mean for it to be. We type in our trusty password. I'm not telling you what it is because it took me a while to create it. It's one of those you got to look in paper inside a notebook to be able to figure out. Good Lord, that thing got big on me. It's adjusting the display graphics driver. I know exactly what's going on. I just sound like I don't. But AcreetionOS, they offer a lot of stuff for a lot of people. They give you enough to start with and then some. You got your screensaver. You got everything you're going to need to get started with, you know. Now, Cinnamon, for those that don't like Cinnamon, be on the lookout for a video where I take AcreetionOS and I'll show you how to install XFCE. Okay, that's what I'm best at. But I appreciate y'all watching. You got places over here, recent files, and then over here we got Firefox, and you got your terminal settings, file manager. That's the lock screen. This is the log out, and that's to reboot or shut down. And I'm going to do neither because I'm going to get out of this thing so I can say goodbye. Again, I'm Fishman. I'm still loving my Linux, as you can see. If you have questions, please leave it in the comments below. I'm not going to sit here and beg people to do things because I know a lot of people that don't mind doing these things. But please, let's keep it clean. No vulgar or disparaging language, okay? No politics, no religion, nothing that's going to gaslight anybody. And again, I thank you for watching, and I hope y'all come back and see me real soon. Remember, people are more important than software.